Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of God, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the personality of Godhead, Narayan, to Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta Parayeshu Abhadreshu Itam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatu Tavasu Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of God, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki. Today we're looking at Canto 9 of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 11. Okay, Chapter 11, which is entitled Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. Verse 1 to 7 and focusing in on 6. Is everybody ready? Thank you. Okay. Shukadev Goswami said, thereafter the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, accepted an acharya and performed sacrifices, yagyas, with opulent paraphernalia. Thus he himself worshipped himself, for he is the Supreme Lord of all demigods. Lord Ramachandra gave the entire east to the Hota priest, the entire south to the Brahma priest, the west to the Avadhurya priest, and the north to Udgata priest, the reciter of the Samaveda. In this way he donated his kingdom. Thereafter, thinking that because the Brahmins have no material desires, they should possess the entire world, Lord Ramachandra delivered the land between the east, west, north, and south to the acharya. After thus giving everything in charity to the Brahmins, Lord Ramachandra retained only his personal garments and ornaments, and similarly the queen, Mother Sita, was left only with her nose ring and nothing else. All the Brahmins who were engaged in the various activities of the sacrifice were very pleased with Lord Ramachandra, who was greatly affectionate and favorable to the Brahmanas. Thus, with melted hearts, they returned all the property received from him and spoke as follows. O Lord, you of the entire universe, what have you not given to us? You have entered the core of our hearts and dissipated the darkness of our ignorance by your effulgence. This is the supreme gift. We do not need a material donation. O Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who have accepted the Brahmanas as your worshipable deity. Your and memory are never disturbed by anxiety. You are the chief of all famous persons within this world, and your lotus feet are worshipped by sages who are beyond the jurisdiction of punishment. O Lord Ramachandra, let us offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Hare Krishna. And we're going to concentrate on verse number 6. Okay. Apratang nastvaya kingnu Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Yonuntar Hridayam Vishya
Yanuntar Hridayam Vishya
Tamohansi Swarochisha
Tamohansi Swarochisha
Apratam nastvaya kimnu
Pratamnastvaya
Kimnu
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Yanno natar hridayam visya
Yanuntar Hridayam Vishya
Tamoham Shri Swarochisha
Tamohansi Swarochisha
apratam tastvaya kimnu
Apratamnastvaya Kimnu
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Yannotar hridayam visya
Yanuntar Hridayam Vishya
Tamoham Shri Swarochisha
Tamohansi
Shisha
Apratam nastvaya kimnu
Apratam Nastvaya Kimnu
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara Yanuntar Hridayam Vishya
Tamohamsi Swarochisha
Tamohamsi Swarochisha
Apratam Nastvayam Kimnu
Apratamnastvaya Kimnu
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Yanonitaridam Vishya
Yanuntar Hridayam Vishya
tamohamsi swarochisha
Tamohamsi Swarochisha
Apratam Nastvaya Kimnu
Apratamnatvaya Kimnu
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara
Bhagavan Bhuvaneshwara Yanuntar Hridayam Vishya Tamohamsi Swarochisha Apratam not given Naha unto us Tvaya by your lordship Kim what Nu indeed Bhagavan O Supreme Lord Bhuvana Ishvara O Master of the whole universe Yet because Naha our Anta Hridayam within the core of the heart Vishya entering Tamaha the darkness of ignorance Hangshi you annihilate Swarochisha by your own effulgence. Translation, let's do this together. O Lord, you are the master of the entire universe. What have you not given to us? You have entered the core of our hearts and dissipated the darkness of our ignorance by your effulgence. This is the supreme gift. We do not need a material donation. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And here we go. When Dhruva Maharaj was offered a benediction by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he replied, "Oh my Lord, I am fully satisfied. I do not need any material benediction." Similarly, when Prahlad Maharaj was offered a benediction by Lord Narasimhadev, he also refused to accept it and instead declared that a devotee should not be like a vanik, a merchant man who gives some thing in exchange for some profit. One who becomes a okay then devotee for some material profit is not a pure devotee. Brahmanas are always enlightened, yes, by the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the Sarvasya Chahang Ridi Sanivishto Matasmritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. And because the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas are always directed by the Supreme Personality of God, they are not. Greedy. He's playing greed. They are not greedy for material wealth. What is absolutely necessary they possess, but they do not want an expanded kingdom. An example of this was given by Vamana Dev, acting as a brahmachari. Lord Vamana Dev wanted only 3 steps of land, aspiring to it's mine. Possess, good. More and more for personal sense gratification is simply ignorance, and this ignorance is conspicuous by its absence from the of a Brahman or Vaishnava. Thank you very much. Okay, Hare Krishna. We are studying the character of Ramachandra, and he was very generous. Of course, that is the quality of a Kshatriya. A Kshatriya is very generous. He's dhanam. He's very much charitable. And we have many examples of this. Yudhishthira was like that. Karna was like that. Any other persons you can think of? Bali Maharaj was like that. And he had a Kshatriya disposition, even though he was ruling with the not so nice guys. But he was very generous. So this is one thing about Ramachandra, and he decided for the different directions, the 4 main directions. Of course, from a Vedic perspective, we have 10 directions. Do you know what they are? North, south, east, west,
Northwest, southeast, southwest,
up and down. Right. But to make things really simple, the tracts of land which were in the 4 main directions were given to Brahmanas to govern, or at least to look after. So that was very pious of him. We know Ramachandra has got those qualities of being like this powerful Kshatriya. He was very kind to his father, his parents in general, and even his stepmoms. There were 2 stepmothers outside of his own mother, Kaushalya, and then there was Kaikeyi, and what was the other one? What is it? Sumitra, that's right. And he was also kind to his brothers, even though Kaikeyi thought otherwise. She dreamt up a story and mentioned it to her maidservant. This Ram, he's evil, like that. Everybody knows the story of intrigue that went on. Usually where there's a palace, there's intrigue. Usually where there's lots of diamonds. What's that?
We're in a palace.
Yes, that's right. Well, it's a temple, okay? It's a different. All right. And, wherever you find lots of riches and wealth, you're going to find trouble as well. There's trouble there. And but in the case of Ramachandra, you can't find anybody who's more pure, and you can't find fault with him. Some people find fault with his, abandoning to some degree Sita, and there are a lot of philosophical explanations behind that, which we're not going to get into right now. But in general, a good husband, in general, a good son, a good ruler, leader, everybody loved him. And so those are the qualifications. Very dharmic person. You compare his personality to the personality of Krishna, it's almost like day and night. Krishna broke many rules. Yeah. And yet, he states in the Gita that yad yad acharati shrishtas, that whatever great people do, the common people will follow, right? To a large extent, Krishna did that. But when on time off, he demonstrated transcendence, something that Ramachandra didn't actually do. Now, I brought this up to this group before. I met a gentleman up in Huntsville. He said, why always Krishna? Why not Ram? And I explained to him, we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. And I didn't really want to do it in his face, but Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And I explained that even though Ramachandra is very endearing to the people, he's a superhero, there's no doubt about that. Still, he did not give us the prime philosophy. He may have lived it, but he didn't deliver it like Krishna did, Krishna has given us the Bible, He's given us the sacred text, the Shastra. He did that, and he did it with some concern. He did it long, long ago. And in chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, it's very clear. He had a chat with the sun god, who's been around for a while. Is that not true? The sun has been around forever, And Krishna was there at the dawn of creation. And he was there with his message, with his lessons. He's a guru, you have Adidas, you had your coat on yesterday, right? Adidas. And Das means servant. Adi means original. Krishna's the original speaker of truth. And sometimes we can say that about Balaram, but I'm not going to go there either. It is Krishna who presented the tattva, the truth, And he repeatedly does it. When there's trouble in the world, yada hedarmasya planir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajam. So whenever and wherever, whenever, that works there too, and wherever there is trouble in the world, the Lord descends to teach this. And what does he do in these teachings? Very kindly, because the theme here is to be charitable, to give protection to these sadhu-like people, to the devotees, to actually hush up the asuras, the duskritinas, namang duskritino mudha prabhadyante narayana. So there are 4 kinds of people who are duskritinas. That means they're famous for being nonsense. Do you know some people who are famous for being nonsense? Just get all the attention, And almost in a glamorous way, which is too bad. Really, it is. And so he takes care of that. And then the third reason for his coming into this world is to establish Dharma so that peace can be preserved. Preserving good things is good. How about preserving pears for the winter? Preservation for peaches. Wow, that was our dessert. We canned all of our stuff on the farm. And so when you had like a half a peach, oh my God, heaven. Or a pear, or wherever else might be there. We also used baby cucumbers and made pickles out of them. The Western kind of pickles. Oh my God. The food was good. So preservation is important. Vishnu is credited for preserving things of this world. Whereas Brahma is known for creating, putting things, assembling. Shiva has the job of disassembling, but maintenance is Vishnu's job. We have one devotee just outside of Montreal. His name's Abhay Charan. He's now of a retired age, but he still keeps going. He's made 4 chariots. He's made separate for other people. He has 3 chariots. He's done a more up-to-date, state-of-the-art chariot, which I saw last year in Montreal. Extra protection is given. So he's built and he assembles. He also disassembles. But the main thing about him, where he comes through as a real hero, he preserves, he maintains. Yeah. Let's go back to Ramachandra and his tendency to just be kind and to express gratitude. Studies have been done. I mean, it doesn't take like rocket science to kind of figure out. When people are expressing gratitude towards others, they are the most productive people. And if you want productivity, then you can, let's say, pat people on the back and express your gratitude to their services. It really works well. Amala Harina, you have a unique kind of service in the temple. You need to get things done. What are the ways that you can get things done?
Reaching out to the devotees and asking them.
Can you be more specific? How do you reach out? I mean, like reach out, grab them? You're doing it right now. Smiling. When you smile at people, of course, some people think, what's the matter with him? What does he want from me? But in general, when you smile, it just brings out all the defenses that people have. Plus, the other thing to do is to express, how someone has done something well. I remember I was in that kitchen. We just moved in the building, and I was doing a lot of cooking. I learned the culinary arts, and I made this broccoli cream sabji. Hare Krishna. And I remember Dharma Prana was visiting from Regina and Winnipeg. He said, this, you know how he's very complimentary. We all know that about him. Sabji's good. He went for a second and third. Actually, when Satsvarup Maharaj came here, he also had the same sabji, and he had 3 helpings. Can you imagine? I mean, that's an endorsement that it was a good sabji. All right, and I felt really good. I felt really good. Okay, everybody likes to be in an atmosphere, a good feeling atmosphere, and then things get done, despite whatever is a hindrance, such as fatigue or, being over-serviced, whatever the case may be, or having gone through some tough time, maybe somebody wasn't nice to you. So to turn it all around, you just do the opposite. Just be really nice. And once the job has been done, pat them on the back, That's what guys do. What do girls do? Oh, I guess they hug. Oh, I love you so much. Some tears start coming out. Okay, so, but it works, right? You get the emotions high. Oh, you did so. Okay, how do you? And that's okay. That's okay. That's how you want to get things done. And Ramachandra, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was getting things done. And he showed by example to be generous. And to get people to be generous, to be giving, you have to do it yourself. Okay? So recently when I was visiting another place, I got a call from someone. And I won't say where it is because it's very private. And she was having trouble with her husband left and didn't leave any money for the 2 children and so on like that. So she was also complaining about the community weren't helping her that much either, giving her support, moral support. When I checked on it, of course, it wasn't actually the fact, but still, nevertheless, let's help out a little bit. So, some donations that I received from the community, I just put it together and I sent it off to her, not directly, but through the temple president, said, this is for you, And so if we get into the mood of generosity, Don't worry, you won't lose. It'll come back twofold, threefold. People will come. So people do get in need. Just like, say, for instance, if a Mataji, say one of you are driving and you get a flat tire. Oh my God. And then some guy comes along and said, got a problem here? Got a flat tire? I'll help you with that. That's, these are the kind of things that people that do, they show kindness and assisting. Frankly, we can't get by in this world without assisting each other. That's the thing. And this is demonstrated by persons like Ramachandra, who is very kind and who also praises the Lord. In one sense, you can say he's praising himself, and that's okay. He can get away with it. But if you actually see yourself as the supreme, then there's a little bit of a problem. And then it's self-worship that goes on. You spend a lot of time in the mirror, and maybe a little bit too much time. Or for devotees, looking in the mirror means getting my tilak on straight. We heard Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was really good at putting on tilak without a mirror. I don't know how he did it. And I don't think he went to look in the river to get a reflection of himself. Some people are just really good at the art, at the skill. But we spend a little time to make sure that, we're, not looking scruffy, we're looking good, we're looking like, proud Prabhupada people, That's a big thing. We look after our clothes, make sure they're not all wrinkled and, that we didn't just throw them on the floor and then pick them up the next morning, that we fold it nicely, or you just grab a new set of clothes in the morning, start fresh, right? So appearance is important before the Lord, and what we say before the Lord is important, and what we do before the Lord is important, And all of these elements or aspects of Bhakti Yoga play a big role in being successful in Krishna consciousness. Yeah. So Krishna gets up in the morning. Remember one of the chapters in the Krishna book? We're talking about Krishna, all his qualities, and he gets up in the morning and he meditates, he bathes, he showers, he thinks about ancestors, he thinks about the people who contributed to him in his life, and he also meditates on himself, okay? He's allowed to do that. He can do that. He can get away with it, and there will be no karma. But if we meditate on ourselves and our bodies and get so caught up in the flesh, there will be some repercussions, the kinds that we don't really want, that we don't really need, right? Yes. That's so. Ramachandra is just one of those great acharyas that, from the Gita, we understand Krishna covers the topic of what is a real acharya, right? And Srila Prabhupada also spoke to John Lennon about this. I was wondering if he wrote the song Imagine after that. But anyways, forget, okay. Krishna also talks about mityachara. That's the opposite. Acharya means teacher. Mityacharya means false teacher. Someone who teaches falsehood. And I had this fellow called, we were just sort of subduing the whole COVID thing. And it was a fellow who belonged to the Charvaka institution. Is anybody familiar with Charvaka? Charvaka Muni? You ever heard about him? There's some famous statements by Charvaka Muni. He said, beg, borrow, or steal, whatever, enjoy life. He even said, get ghee and enjoy life. That was his take on life itself. So when I thought Charvaka, this guy who called from the Charvaka Society, said, who is this guy? And he called from India. It was a long interview, actually. And he's an agnostic. He doesn't really believe in God. He believes in acquiring things, accumulating things, and being rather materialistic, not believing in God. Anyways, he asked all the questions, and some or other, during the course of the interview, his heart got a little melted and said, the next time I come to Toronto, I want to go on a walk with you. So when hearts melt, the best comes out of people, Frankly, this notion of the no God concept, it comes from hard-heartedness. It just comes from dealing with the world and not having, say, some breaks in life, And so we find some people just kind of go the other way. They go in reverse, because their God disappointed them, or their perception of God disappoints. Now, this is a very strong neophyte trait, that if you do embrace the concept of God and Almighty, Bhagawan, then you might get disappointed when you're asking for material things, which is something that Ramachandra didn't do. For instance, people do pray to the Lord for, I gotta pass my exams. Or it says, you have to find me a nice Sita, Or you have to find me a nice Ram, Or these are material situations. They function within the realm of karma, and you don't really have to worry about it too much. Frankly, the best prayer is, my dear Lord, I really believe in you, and I believe that you have set everything in motion here in this world, and whatever's supposed to come to me, I accept. But help me to cope with the difficulties and challenges along the way. And please help me not to offer prayers where I get greedy. Really, There are different levels of prayers. They can be found in the mode of, Sattvagun, Rajagun, or Tamagun, There are different kinds of prayers, just like the three energies, the three gunas. They can be found everywhere. Just in the way you dress, the kind of music you listen to, your language, how the weather is. And I found that when talking to high school students, they kind of really get it. They talk about the three energies. You pull that out of the Bhagavad Gita because you're trying to explain something that's not just about belief, but something that's a little more philosophical, something that hits reality and experience, So I found it always helps, Hard rock, yeah. What kind of music is that? They put up their hands. Ignorance. They know. Well, what is spring? What's rain? What kind of weather is that? Passion. They know. It's quite incredible. I think it's innate. It just has to be surfaced. And we are there to surface people. In fact, just over the weekend, I was one devotee who was doing a wedding. He can solemnize marriages. And he asked me, do you have any tips on what I can say to my sister and her congregation or her friends at her wedding? Because she asked him to do the ceremony. So do you have any tips? Because she doesn't really want to hear about God, right? I said, well, why don't you just pull something out of the Gita, which is a little more philosophical, reference the Gita and talk about the three energies and what that all means. And this information comes from a sacred text called Bhagavad Gita. You tell people like that. You don't have to say, God, love God with all their heart and all their mind, all thy soul. You don't have to say any of that kind of stuff. Just be philosophical with some people, because philosophy does help people, right? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo viti tatvata. That's not the verse I'm thinking of. I'm just thinking after many, many verses of this. Bahunam jammanam ante. Bahu means many, like it's the verse you were reading this morning. Bahu. Bahu refers to many, many arms. Many after ante, birth, janma. After having gone through karmic activities, then moving on into the next level, which is being philosophical, being like a jnani. Next level would be like a yogi, being like a yogi. And finally you become a bhakta. Yay! Right? You hit the jackpot. So that's the idea. That's what happens. Tell people what they're ready to hear. You don't have to throw, kind of like Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, rub it in people's face, like people are training dogs, and don't you do this doo-doo in my house, and they take the dog or the cat and rub it in their face, and people do that as part of the training. It's kind of gross, isn't it? So don't make the Bhagavad Gita appear like stool that you rub people in it. It's got to be attractive. The message has to be appealing. And so sometimes it's better just to be philosophical, right? And then you can move on. Then things will be sweet, and you can only say, what a treat. Hare Krishna. So I like to be faithful to the time. I always thought that was a good thing about Bhakti Academy, and especially at BAT, Bhakti Academy Toronto. We are pretty faithful with this. And sometimes when we have visitor, they don't know about time, how time is Krishna. So you either have to tolerate or you have to send messages, it's time, if they can handle it, or a little poke in the back or, on the side, always helps, can help, right? So anyways, this is now the time for Q&A and anything that we said. If it makes any sense, please let us know. If it makes no sense, it's nonsense, please let us know as well. Okay? So here we go. The first hand is up. Yes. Okay, shall we have one and then we'll go to somebody else and then, okay.
You mentioned about Mityachara, which you explained, but my concern was when we go for book distribution, we are giving Bhagavad Gita when it says to surrender to Krishna. But we ourselves are not 100% surrendered. We are just also dealing with a lot of problems, material problems, and we're going through the stage of purification. And we do so many offenses, so many mistakes. And how can and at the same time we're giving the Bhagavad Gita and telling to follow it, and is that Mityachara?
We're not asking people to follow it. We're just asking them to read it first and then make a judgment on it. And then if they have any questions, they can ask. We're not rubbing it in their face. That's not the approach. And when you sell the Bhagavad Gita, you're selling yourself. It was your kindness. It was your, let's say, personality that you put forth. Maybe you're real slick in your presentation. Some people, hey, I'll give you something for this, I like you're a good salesman. I like it, something like that. Or they just sense, sometimes people, they sense something genuine in you, and they want to be part of that. Because people are genuinely looking, So it's not that when you give a Bhagavad Gita or you're selling a book that you're, let's say, being forceful or like oppressive or anything. Just say, here's a book, you can open any page. You're not even following up on them. That's the kind of a weakness we have. But just be kind in your delivery, in your presentation, and they'll feel that, hey, maybe there is something to it all. They look at you, they look at the product of someone who's following the Gita and say, I like this person. When people saw Prabhupada, they say, I like him. What made him tick, what made him work? And then the answer is, well, he just followed this text here. And then he followed a text, he followed a tradition that follows the text. Right? So it's okay. When a person reads a book, don't expect it to be all like a bowl of roses or like a bowl of cherries, There has to be some stuff in there that'll shake you up a little bit, Thanks for the sound effects. And a little bit of that has to be there. There has to be good and bad. Isn't that what you get? In the Gita, you will embrace something. Yes, you want to say something else. I'm not sure. So it takes some time, right? Good. To basically act like a great Vaishnava with enthusiasm and with care and kindness and compassion for the soul. And you'll get some good results, yeah. But don't expect that the hard stuff should come right away on lesson 1. Be easy. Take it easy with people. All right, and we had a hand up. You, Leo,
I
did
was
you?
curious, you mentioned some people already know about the three energies.
Yes.
Where do we study this?
Experience,
University? Or-
just experience,
Oh,
yeah, life experience. A lot of people know what is goodness, which is thoughtfulness. I prefer that word, thoughtfulness. Goodness is just a little bit too vague. I just say thought, to be thoughtful. You know, to be thoughtful, kind, that kind of thing. And then when we talk about rajas, we're talking about the energy of passion, you know? which is, everyone should have passion, shows life, but you just want to put that passion in the right direction. Okay? Passion usually indicates, well, behind it is oftentimes sex drive. It also means I want to get things done. I want to get results, you know. I want to get some attention, you know. And I have to do it fast, and I have to do it well. Then we have Tamagun. I think most people understand that. You know, red wine, stay close to me. Okay, so I think everybody understands that taking to narcotics and intoxicants and, you know, getting into bad habits, even if it's sex and all these things, that it brings you down to the dumps, puts you in a cesspool. Most people won't understand those things. So show proper behavior, get into the rules and regulations of life, dharmic values, and, you know, start telling people about dharma. Give them a new word to chew on, right? When you're talking to people. But I believe intuitively most people understand three energies. And if you live in ignorance, you will plummet down even more. But if you apply some of the sattva gun, that energy, the energy of thoughtfulness, it'll take you up. And we all want to go up, right?
yes, we are.
Okay. Good, thank you. Somebody else out there? Yes.
Smaji mentioned that some people never have a good experience in their life. That's why they become agnostic or they become atheist.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, people, the same people, they also go through something, and then they also, some people, they become theists, like they go to God, and then some people have the same experience and they become agnostic. So why is this difference? Like, what makes this difference?
Well, some people react to, you know, let's say opportunity. If opportunity avails them, they just sometimes shy away. And it is a sign of ignorance, you can say. But other people see here as an opportunity. The door is opening for me. For some people, when the door opens, yes, I can get in. When the door opens, some people, no, I'm scared of what's going to come out of it. So we react differently. We are different people, and it just takes a little time. For some folks who just shy away, they get a little tired. I'm tired of saying no. I'm tired of refusing. I'm tired of making excuses. Why don't I boldly go in there and just develop some strength by just saying, yes, I'm going to take up the challenge. And I may die in the process, but I'm going to die a hero. Okay? Who wants to die without dignity, right? Hare Krishna, you had something?
Thank you, Maharaj. I have a question regarding one thing you said. You said that we should serve with generosity, like Arjun, Karna, and Malina. So how can a devotee can serve with generosity?
With charity, generosity. It's one of the principles Rupa Goswami talks about, one of the 6 major processes, you know, offer people prasadam, you know. And if you're penniless and you just, you're a starving, not an artist, but a starving student, then, you know, there's opportunities to take what Krishna's giving you here and offer some of the prasad to the devotees, you know. Second help, would you like second helping? And be right there. Just, that's a simple act. Or you can just save a little prasadam. Hey, like say for instance, I see some real nice sweets here. Instead of me eating them, maybe I'll send them up to the front desk where Rasatma could, you know, disperse them to people who are coming here. I get those sweets every day. Yeah.
Would ignorance the Lord annihilate from his effulgence?
Ignorance,
How could the Lord annihilate from his the ignorance by his own effulgence?
ignorance.
How can the Lord annihilate the darkness by his effulgence?
Well, by his effulgence. When we talk about effulgence, this could refer to the Brahmajyoti, it could refer to the Lord as light and dispelling the darkness of ignorance, the ignorance that we've been talking about, the self-centered life, everything about me. So that's one way that he can do that. Yeah, it's kind of figurative, but so on. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Maharaj, I appreciated your points on gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the verse, and the Brahmins are saying, "What have you not given to us?"
Yes.
It reminded me of the definition of gratitude, or the word in Sanskrit is kritya, to know what has been done.
Uh-huh.
So they know everything is being done by Krishna.
Right.
I was hoping you could speak more on gratitude.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, one of the things that is quite disturbing in the world today is that people are just always griping about something that didn't quite go their way or that they don't have. But they don't spend the time to say, what do you have? And it's just this little adjustment, that's all. And if that can go on, if you have the attitude of gratitude, you become productive, you become optimistic, an optimist, and you get in the sharing mode. I feel so good. That's the benefit of gratitude. You feel light. On the other hand, if you feel that you've been like cheated, or you got the raw end of a deal somehow or other, and you don't see the bright side, yeah, you discourage others by your pessimism and cynicism. So to be cynical is to be a sinner. It's sinful to be cynical. And it's something else to be optimistic, because there's so much to look at that's favorable that has happened in your life. And I see that's the energy that Prabhupada gave us. He could have gone back. Someone stole thousands of dollars from him. Some people just left him. Some people even got critical of him. Some people would be critical and say, oh, this is not the real parampara. And so many things have come to Prabhupada that would give enough ammunition for him to say, I think I'll just pack it up in my bags. I'll go back to Boston. I'll get the next ship, the Jaladuta ship, and I'll just go back to Radha Damodar Mandir and spend my life there. But he just looked at everything that was positive. And he was into numbers. He said, we have so many temples, we have so many books, we have so many devotees, we have so much Lakshmi even, just like he was we have some restaurants now. We're putting up, we're talking to the scholars, religious and scientific scholars, so much that he would look at, that are in the pluses, not the minuses. So stick to Prabhupada and you'll see gratitude throughout the whole thing. Like some people can complain, Canada's cold. Yeah, but it's also warm. It's also moderate. You have spring and fall. You can say so many things, and this is where this sort of divisive nature that's happening in the world today, in this sort of prosperous world, it's just very, very sad what's going on. And the basic values of I'm not this body are not being taught. It's really the start. It starts from there. People identify so much with the skin color right now, so much with gender identification. It's creating a lot of confusion. You have to get off that track, off it, and develop incredible gratitude. Did you want to say something? You had something?
I think I had something similar, so.
Okay. Okay. Anything? You had a second one.
You mentioned that when we have so many problems, we ask Krishna, like you give examples, right?
Mhm.
And you said, well, that is your karma that will come,
Yeah.
right? And we should not ask, we should only ask for help to like
Mhm.
ask to Krishna that please help me to go through this.
Yes.
So every we go through, we also pray and we still struggling with that.
When you ask Krishna, please help me to cope with the problems,
Yeah.
and you're still struggling. Yeah, Prakriti Sthani Karashati. Struggle goes on in this world with the six senses, including the mind, which you played over the weekend. Yeah, don't give up just because, there's some struggle. Don't expect like a fixed deal, everything's, it just doesn't work that way. You will still struggle, but you can take note, you can gauge, let's say progress. That's what you have to do. That's where the gratitude element comes in. When you gauge, when you count the blessings. Count the blessings. I remember on my first walk in 96, I met with Mrs. Dietrich. She was our English teacher in high school. And well, I was out of the high school system for 25 years. And then I got into the walk and she saw, me in the front page. And, and she saw me and then she pulled over. My name was John. Right? And we hugged. And our discussion was about just counting blessings. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. It's a mantra. Count your blessings. Count your blessings. So some of you know that I like to journal every day, and so one of the reasons why I do it is to count my blessings, positive things. I don't always. I put some negative things in there, challenges, but then I also write how I overcame them. And I find it kind of solidifies the culture of optimism, and that's why I journal. I do have a poem that I can share with you. It's almost ready to be typed out. Are you ready for it? It'll take 2 minutes. It's about movie stars. Okay? All right. Hey there, glamorous movie star. You've got those gasp-worthy good looks. Larger than life you are. Stellar performances are real hooks, drawing fans from far and wide. They have your full attention, blind somewhat to a dark flip side. Reverence you've gained like royal intention, yet life didn't quite start out that way. You were washing dishes at a greasy eatery. The humble struggle was hard until one day a breakthrough came, like changing the battery. Your career kicked off under bright lights. Then partners and parties became accolades. Paparazzi kept reaching new heights. And a private life means that you always wear dark shades. Your mansion is worth a mint or millions. Your cars, maybe yacht, perhaps plane, the ways of mobility for a glitter civilian, are accumulations where happiness is hard to contain. The massive screen established that fame. You are a god with incredible influence. Philandering becomes habit, often with no shame. That dark side diminishes integrity. How about a sample character, 007? A person of fiction, passion, and all of that, advocating a love not from heaven. So in real life, role modeling falls flat. A great message from the Vedas states, whatever leading persons do, commoners follow. Our behavior impacts like heavy weights. For off-screen life, Are you leaving something wholesome or hollow? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. And now we're going to go to that section of the day, which is